Hi, I'm Megan Hausman, and I'm going to be talking about my journey throughout my favorite game, which is softball, and my top 3 tips to being successful when at the plate. So my journey and career throughout softball kind of started before I was even born. My dad played baseball throughout his entire childhood, and after he graduated high school, he continued his career at Muskegon Community College and then later transferred on to Olivet College to finish up his career as a baseball player. Likewise, my mom played softball her entire childhood and continued her career after high school at Muskegon Community College playing softball, as well as my dad. Although they did not meet at Muskegon Community College, they did meet at a slow pitch tournament at Softball World, hence me and my 3 sisters being born. When I was younger, my dad coached softball at Muskegon Community College. They won the national championship in 2010, so me and my sisters were always just surrounded by the game of softball, and I was always super intrigued with hitting. So my first personal experience playing any sort of softball was when I was 3. I started t-ball, and hitting was always my favorite part, just like it is now. I am currently playing at North Muskegon on the varsity team as a pitcher, and am playing at an organization called Top Prospects that my dad owns for the Top Prospects 18U team. And I am planning on continuing my softball career at Aquinas in the fall of 2022 as a center fielder. So my favorite part of hitting, softball, like I mentioned before, has always been hitting. And so I'm going to give my top 3 tips to being a successful hitter when at the plate. So just like anything in life, having a positive input directly correlates with a positive output. So I've implemented in my routine saying a positive affirmation, the same one every single time before I go up to bat. This helps to clear my mind and helps me to feel prepared and confident while also diminishing any prior worries or struggles that I have going up to bat. So my positive affirmation that I give myself is, "You got this." It's super simple. I don't really have to think about it, and it does the job of clearing my mind and helping me to feel confident. So my second tip kind of correlates with the first one. It's having a plan with what I'm going to do with the ball. So every day in normal life, I make a to-do list, and it helps me to feel more organized and confident, just like having a plan when I'm going up to bat helps me to feel prepared and confident. So my plan 99% of the time is to hit the ball into the big part of the field in the air. The big part of the field is a gap in the outfield. It's where the farthest space between players lies, so you have a better chance of getting on, and we want to hit the ball in the air because we want to hit it where no one can field it and no one can field the ball that's hit above their head. So that's pretty much always my plan. So I say big part of the field in the air right after my positive affirmation. It helps me to know what I'm going to do with the ball and makes it easier to actually accomplish doing so. The only time my plan really ever changes is, say we are in a situation such as an international tiebreaker, which is when you're pretty much only trying to score 1 run because you and the other team are tied when time ran out. So you have a runner on second base. At this point, you're just trying to get a ball down and in play so the other runner can move and you guys can score. So at that point, your coach may tell you to bunt the ball. Then your plan would change from hitting the ball in the big part of the field in the air to bunting the ball. Just by changing your plan, it helps you to really internalize what you're trying to do and helps making it become reality a lot simpler. So my third and final tip to being successful at the plate is technique. Something that's super important that every hitter needs to realize is that everybody is different. So you need to do something that makes you feel comfortable and confident, such as your stance. Everybody is different, so whatever works for you is what you should do. And so something else that's super important is triggering your hips. Like in this picture, you can see the hips trigger before the hands trigger. This is super important because if your lower half is triggering and your hands are following the bat speed as shown, quickens, the faster your bat speed is, the harder and the farther the ball will go. This is super important because we're trying to hit doubles, triples, home runs, not just dinky little ground balls. And the ground balls will come if your bat speed is too slow because you'll roll over and the ball won't travel very far, probably not even out of the infield most of the time, and you'll have a greater chance of getting out. Another super important thing is to be picky about your pitches. You want to hit the ball that is at the bottom of your breastplate to the top of your kneecap. You want to only hit strikes. Swinging at balls is not something that you would want to do because you only get 3 chances to hit the ball at an at-bat, so you want to make sure you're picking good pitches. Another super important thing is to watch the ball out of the pitcher's hand. You want to pick up the spin right out of her hand so you have a better chance of hitting the ball, and you want to keep your eye on the ball the entire time until you make contact. You want to keep your eye on where you made contact with the ball until your swing is completely finished. So those are my 3 top tips to being successful at the plate, although there are many uncontrollable factors that come into play, such as weather and the umpire. And another thing right now is really nice bats are super expensive. I just broke my bat and I'm having to buy a $450 new bat, which is super pricey, but like I said, I play softball all the time, so it's something that's important to me. But having a really nice bat will also increase your chances of hitting it farther because they are more expensive for a reason. But yeah, those are my 3 top tips that anyone can do to help increase their chances of being successful at the plate.